Hello and welcome to another tutorial on my channel Create by Kay. My hook size is 3.5 millimeter, and for this pattern I go and chain 14. Make my slip knot and chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. For row 1 I go in each chain and make a loop and keep that loop on my hook. This loop I have right here, I make sure is long enough. Then I go with my finger right there and I move to the next chain, grab the yarn and make the loop, and I go with my fingers right here on the chain and I do this to make sure that is same high. Go with my finger right there, move to the next chain, make the loop, and again I do that. Go with my finger to the next chain, I do that, and the next one all the way. To complete row 1 I go and I keep this loop right here to have the same height. If I don't do that, when I go and grab the yarn and pull through, it's gonna be a little bit shorter than the other ones, and then on this side everything is gonna be short and this side everything is gonna be long. So to avoid that I make sure it's long enough, and then I go with my fingers right there, and now I grab the yarn and pull through that loop. Then here I make sure this loop is all the time loose, not tight, it's loose, and then I grab the yarn, pull through that loop and the next loop from my hook, and then I repeat that loop and the next loop from my hook, that loop and my next loop from my hook, and like this all the way. For row 2 I make sure this loop is long enough, then I go with my finger right there, then I go to the next loop right here and I make a loop, then to the next one. I have 3 loops on my hook, 4 loops, 5, 6 and 7. Now I go right here between the 2 of them with my hook, grab the yarn and I make a long loop, yarn over, go with my finger right there, I go back and make another long loop. That's 2 times, 3 times and 4 times. Then I skip this to the next one, I go right there but then on the back too, and I grab the yarn and I pull through like this. And now between this loop and that one I repeat the 4 long loops. I go with my hook right there, grab the yarn, make a long loop, yarn over, go with my finger to keep my loops on my hook, go back, make my second loop, my third and my fourth. And then I go on this loop right there, make another loop, and to the last one I go on here and there and make a loop. Now to complete row 2, again I do with this last loop the same what I did on row 1. I make sure it's long enough. I keep it with my fingers right there, then I grab the yarn and pull through. Make sure this loop I have on my hook is loose, then grab the yarn, pull that loop, this loop, and the 4 loops right there. Then here, and then right here I chain 1, then I grab the yarn and pull through that loop and then the next loop from my hook. Then here I chain 1, then I grab the yarn, pull through that loop, the 4 loops, and the next loop right there. Then I grab the yarn, pull through that loop and the next loop over here and the next loop right there and the next loop until I'm done with all of them. For row 3, I make sure the first loop is long enough, then I go to the next one. I go with my 7 loops on my hook, how I did on row 2. The 7 I have it here is this one, and then I skip the 4 loops, and right here where is the 1 chain, I go and make the 4 long loops, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then on this loop right here I go right there, and then on the back grab the yarn and I pull through. Then where is 1 chain, I go with my 4 long loops, 1, yarn over, 2, 3 and 4. And then I have here 2 loops. I go on this loop, grab the yarn, make a loop, then the last one on this one and that one over there and make a loop. To complete is in the same way how I complete row 2. Again I make sure this loop, the last loop, is the same high. Go with my fingers right there, grab the yarn, pull through, and then I pull through right here and the next 4. I chain 1, then I grab the yarn and pull through 1, chain 1, grab the yarn, pull through the 4 loops and 1 more right there. And now I just grab the yarn and pull through my loops. And I go and I repeat row 3 how many times I need. I make the 7 loops, then right here with this 1 chain I make my 4 long loops. I go with my hook right here and then on the back to make the loop, then the 4 long loops right here and then my last 2 loops.